Kamadoodoo in the Lindales. Chapter 1. The Thief. It was a dry and hot day in the bustling metropolis of Wagner. The arid town was the shafts of the Kamadoodoo province. Large buildings constructed from sandstone towered above the heads of many people below. One of these people was the knight Kamadoodoo. He was a fugitive from the Dragu and Weird provinces. Many bounty hunters had been looking for him, but none could get a single lead as to where he was. A knight sat at a bar stool, sipping a cold beer. Two katana-like swords on his back, and a dagger lay in a sleeve scabbard. A dark purple cloak was worn around his body, somewhat covering his face. He scanned the room looking for anything out of the ordinary. A man walked in the back entrance. He wore a black cloak and a blue bandana around his face. The man sat down next to Kamadoodoo at the bar and ordered a drink. "Those swords must have cost you a fortune," the man said, pulling down his bandana. "How much could I buy them off you for?" he asked. "Not for sale," Kamadoodoo muttered. "I can pay you for them," he said. "I've got lots of money," he added. Kamadoodoo glanced at the man for a second, then returned looking forward. "Well, I can see this is not going anywhere. Have a nice day."
The man got up and brushed past Kamadoodoo as he left the bar. It only took Kamadoodoo seconds to realize what the man did. Kamadoodoo reached into his pockets, but it was gone. Holding his beer, Kamadoodoo started sprinting out of the bar. "You gotta pay for that," the fat man behind the bar yelled. Without saying anything, Kamadoodoo threw his beer at the man's face and ran out of the bar. Kamadoodoo quickly climbed up onto the roof to get a better view. He scanned around the streets, squinting his eyes from the hot sun. The thief entered an alley. It was dark, wet, and much cooler than anywhere else.
"I think we got away,"
he said, looking at a younger blonde boy. He opened the sack in his hand to reveal a light blue glowing crystal. The thief leaned on the brick wall and gave a breath of relief. Just as the moment passed, a purple-cloaked man dropped down on the other side of the alley. Kamadoodoo pulled both swords from his back and walked slowly towards the thief. The black-cloaked man stepped back and pulled a staff from his back. He then started running as fast as he could before he jumped on the wall and began wall running. The thief then put the staff over his head to reveal a glider board, which carried him right to Kamadoodoo. He then landed and blasted Kamadoodoo off his feet with a blast of wind. Kamadoodoo quickly thrusted the sword in his right hand through the dark ground, breaking the momentum. Kamadoodoo, with the one knee on the ground, wiped the dirt from his face. He stood up, spun both swords, then hit them together, creating a purple spark, lighting the two curved blades on fire. Another powerful blast of air came from the thief. However, it was dodged by Kamadoodoo. Blast after blast after blast came from the black-cloaked man. All of them dodged by Kamadoodoo as he slowly paced towards the man. Finally, Kamadoodoo reached him. Not wanting the younger boy to see such bloodshed, Kamadoodoo punched the thief in the face with the hilt of his sword, effectively knocking out the pickpocket. A decision that would change the rest of his life. Kamadoodoo took a step back, flipped his blades backwards, and then back into their scabbards crossed on his back. Kamadoodoo had flair. He was a swordsman most people would not fight willingly. Looking down, Kamadoodoo could see the petrified look on the little blonde's face. He estimated that the boy probably had not seen the 10 winters. Kamadoodoo knelt down to the boy's stature. "Do not be afraid," he whispered. "Your enemies can always tell." He got back to his feet with a slight strain in his breath. The purple-cloaked swordsman wandered back to the unconscious thief and looted the black sack which held the crystal. Nothing else. The rogue knight still had some honor after all. Kamadoodoo gave the young boy one last head nod and a little smirk before recloaking his head and jaunting back into the town's scorching streets.
That's him." The fat bartender pointed his sausage-like fingers at Kamadoodoo, and 3 oversized meatcakes that must have been the town's guard rushed him. "Oh shit," muttered Kamadoodoo under his breath. Kamadoodoo began to break in the opposite direction. He could not allow himself to be caught this far in. People in the street started clearing the way, not wanting to get run over by the party. Sand kicked up as Kamadoodoo raced through the Wagner aisles. Hoping to lose them, Kamadoodoo made a sharp right into a tight alley. He then took a left at the end of the alley, leading him into another pathway. Dead end. "He went in there!" yelled the guard. Kamadoodoo looked around. He didn't have the time to double back. "Give me your hand!" Kamadoodoo looked up to see the thief with a bloody gash over his eye. "Why should I trust you?" Kamadoodoo said with speculation. "You don't have a choice," he said. The black-cloaked man reached out his hand. Kamadoodoo looked at the end of the alleyway to see those overweight meat wagons pushing themselves through the tight space. Kamadoodoo jumped up and grappled the man's hand with his own. The thief pulled him up with a break in his breath. Kamadoodoo was carrying a lot. Together they ran through alleyways and gutters until they reached the gates of Wagner. It was nearly shut down. The doors were shut and guards were lining the exit. The falling sun gleamed onto their red armor. They were all well equipped with a sword, dagger, and a shield. The city of Wagner was not poor by any means. However, the Wagnerians were quite stingy with their gold despite the trading hub of the south. Kamadoodoo felt a nudge on his shoulder. "This way, I know a secret exit," whispered the thief. Hesitantly, Kamadoodoo followed the man who just stole from him. It was very hard to explain, but he seemed very trustworthy. As they walked through more alleyways, the sun finally fell past the horizon. A cool breeze washed over both men. They were sweaty and dirty. The ends of their cloaks and their clothes were covered in sand and their hands slightly calloused from the crawling. "Let me do the talking, all right? This guy's an asshole," said the thief. "Takes one to know one," Kamadoodoo retorted. "I saved your skin back there. A little gratitude would be nice." Kamadoodoo scoffed quietly as they entered a seedy-looking building. He looked around to see dirty men with naked women sitting around them, laughing at jokes that weren't funny. The hell are they doing in this fucking brothel? "How is this supposed to help us?" Kamadoodoo questioned angrily. "Patience. I know the owner here. There is a tunnel under the brothel that will lead us directly into the sewers and then out of the city." The duo walked through the open bar and into the curtained-off back office. Inside there was a brown-skinned man with 9 naked girls on each side of him.
"Ah, Great Bear and friends," the man said with an accent. "What will it be this time? Same as usual?" he asked. "Haha, no. As much as I'd like to, I actually need your help," Great Bear said, chuckling. "Up, out," the man said as he smacked one firm behind. The 18 harlots left the 3 men alone in the back office room. Not before winking at Kamadoodoo and making kissing sounds. "All right, you bastard. What do you need? Last time I trusted you on one of your jobs, I got thrown in prison for a month. A month! I had to doo-doo in the bucket for a month." "Won't be like last time, I swear," Great Bear said. Kamadoodoo pulled a pouch from his back pocket and tossed it to the brothel owner. The man opened the sack and pulled out a gold coin. He dropped it back into the bag with a click as it hit the others. "I like this one. Where did you find him?" "Long story. Can you help us, Raheem?" Great Bear asked. "What do you need, my friend?" Raheem nodded with a smile. "Food, water, a little ale would be nice. We also need to use the underpass." Great Bear was quiet with his words. Kamadoodoo could tell the thief didn't expect the interaction to be going smooth as it was. "How much?" Raheem asked. "Enough to get 3 people across the weird border," Great Bear answered.
Raheem looked up in the air as if he was counting. "I can do this for you," Raheem said. "But this is my last favor." "Agreed," Grey Bear replied. "Wait here," Raheem said, looking at both of them. The Aryan man walked through the red curtains and out of sight. Kamadoodoo looked at Grey Bear and shook his head. "I don't trust him," Kamadoodoo said quietly. "You didn't trust me either," Grey Bear said, giving him a wholesome laugh. "I still don't trust you," Kamadoodoo replied, stone-faced. Kamadoodoo began growing slightly nervous. It all happened so fast. from arriving in Wagner just this morning to being forced out of the city with strangers he could hardly call trustworthy. He began to fidget with the daggers in his sleeve. Anything could happen. Keeping his guard in place like this was the smart thing to do. The curtains opened back up. Raheem held 3 sacks over his shoulders. Here you are. Bread, salted pork, apples, water skins, and ale. Raheem smiled.
Kamadoodoo opened up the ale and gave it a few sniffs. If I had a reason to kill you, you would be dead already, said Raheem. Gray Bear snatched the ale from Kamadoodoo and downed a quarter of it. Gray Bear began to laugh. If I'm going to die, I'm not going to do it sober, he said, smiling with ale dripping from his chin. You said you needed to use the underpass, correct? Raheem said, looking at Gray Bear. Indeed, he replied. Well, you see, I had a little accident, I guess you could say, a few weeks back. I was sneaking this gorgeous brunette out of Wagner, and you really know how I get when I see a pretty lady. I try to help them, it's what I do. It's not really my fault. Don't blame me for getting the guards involved. I tried to do. Raheem was cut short by Kamadoodoo. Can you help us or not? Kamadoodoo exclaimed. You're not going to be able to use the underpass. I apologize. I have another way through, Raheem said slyly. He then left the room once again. I don't like this, Kamadoodoo said whilst scanning his surroundings. I don't either. I'm not being paid to like it though, Gray Bear said, having a seat on the couch. Raheem then came trotting back into the room holding a small chest. What's inside the chest, Raheem? Gray Bear said with skepticism. Your ticket out, he said, smiling.
Raheem opened both latches at the same time. He opened the top of the chest to reveal a purple silk covering. Pulling back the covering, Raheem pulled 4 knife-looking things out of the chest. These knives are excellent at piercing. People use these in the north to climb ice. In theory, it should have worked for climbing sandstone, Raheem said. You want us to climb the wall? Gray Bear said, eyeing Raheem. Aye. It may not look like your best option at first glance, but you gotta trust me on this one, he replied. The top of the Wagner outer wall is crawling with guards. You won't get a quarter of the way up without being seen, Kamadoodoo said. Not in the doggy-dog district, said Raheem. It stinks of shite. They hate being stationed over there. If you two can climb over the wall and jump into the water outside, I can pay someone to get your supplies out of town, Raheem said, looking smug with himself.
Gray Bear looks down at his feet as if considering his options. We're not actually going through with this, right? You don't think this is a good idea? Kamadoodoo said, looking towards Gray Bear. We don't have a choice. We need to get out of town fast. This is our best and only option, Gray Bear replied. You're fucking mad, Kamadoodoo said, crossing his arms and looking both ways. Let's do it, Gray Bear said, trying to look confident. He then threw Raheem a pouch of gold coins and took off the daggers, handing Kamadoodoo a set. Let's get going. Wouldn't want you two to get caught in the sunlight, now would we? Raheem said, smiling. With a swig of some unholy alcoholic beverage, Raheem led the 2 acquaintances out of the side door, as to not be seen by any clients or unfaithful attendees. Raheem opened the door slowly. As it creaked open, Kamadoodoo poked his head out with caution, making sure no one was around. Trust me, friend, no one comes roaming around at this hour. Only men looking for a slow death, or men looking to give one, Raheem said, straight-faced. Keep behind me. The spot is just up ahead. The trio slowly approached the wall, like a bread of ram, ready to run. Eureka! Gray Bear cried. Shut the fuck up, Gray Bear, Kamadoodoo loudly whispered. Raheem turned around to see Gray Bear face down in the sand. He then knelt and pulled the dart from his neck. It's poison, Raheem said, smiling. Oh shit, Kamadoodoo said as his vision faded to black. To be continued. Go Hoosiers!